Welcome to our show today. Today is Viral Political Monday, Machine Monday, and I'm just having a little lunch right now. And we're going to have a lunchtime type of fun program today. Actually, I'm going to look at all the anti Trump memes and graphics out there, and we're going to study a little bit. Just look at it. We're going to use a random slideshow thing today on based on I guess it's Google, Flickr, whatever images, and just make an observation. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to see some fun stuff, funny stuff. We're going to talk about it. So join us today on Viral Political Machines. Political Monday, and it's going to be a fun show. Usually, my shows are a little bit I like to say they're academic, but others may opine differently. But today, it'll be a fun day. So join us. Good, then that's a little introduction, a little short than I would like, and we'll see we can work on making that a little longer. But in any case, let me just share out. It doesn't give me enough time to share out the broadcast when I get started, so uh, we'll try to share it out to my to the VPN page, Viral Political Machine. If you're on Facebook, Viral Political Machine has a page on Facebook. Okay, so we've just shared it out. And again, we have the chat up. Just in today's political conversation, we'll be doing some Spaceparium today, the game that we are developing, and we're going to do development within the political framework of Spaceparium. So it's a political day, but we're getting other things done as long as it has to do with politics in one way or another. So let's get to it. Let's see what we got here. Where was that thing I was looking at? Yeah. Okay, so we'll have to get it up or try to get it again. We're gonna look for a slideshow. We're using the slideshow .net for this. It's kind of like an automated slideshow. You put in a term, a word, and it loads in like Google. It loads in just images using, I believe it uses Google and Flickr, stuff like that, things that are freely searchable online. And what we're going to look for today is just to get this started. We'll just do Trump. So today we'll look at Trump and we'll see what images are out there in the world and what our thinking is or what our impression is of them. And if anybody wants to comment as we go along, you're perfectly welcome to do so. So let's get started. Let's go to the screen here. This is, again, slideshow.net. I was trying to use this for a few programs in the past. I never really got to do anything with it, so I guess this is the first day we're gonna at least have the chance to feature it. So here goes that. Let me set my transcriber to go, and everything's ready. So here we go. Okay, this is the first thing we get. Obviously anti-Trump treatment or sentiment. Let me blow this up here a bit. And a warning for children, if there's any children around, really should not be watching this program because the images are unfiltered. And again, I've not prepared anything. This is not I prepared. This is I just an open search, and we have this added artwork. Obviously, most of these things are photoshopped or whatnot, and so that's what we're seeing. So this is the sentiment. It can go either way, obviously. It would be sad if somebody who's an anti-Trumper um, created this, if that's a fact, because again, since it can go either way, it really doesn't do all the damage that I guess they would imagine. Some of the reasons I'm doing this is that because some people imagine that they're doing some damage to Trump in some way or to the Trumpers out there, and that's the reason why I'm actually doing this type of thing today, so you can see that, so we can have that discussion. Is this something that's effective for the anti-Trump sentiment, or does it just sing to the choir? Is it part of the choir? Hey, anti-Trump. Okay, let's go to the next one. And again, this is just a wonderful painting, actually, of President Trump. So there he is, and there's nothing to say because it is what it is. Simple. And I don't know why this is here. Something in here is probably Trumpish. Here we go, a country road with a building with the Trump letters there. As you can see, the word Trump or the name Trump on a country road. Good old back. This is the places, by the way. This is not where the popular vote is. So that's number one. What this picture depicts is not where the popular vote is at all. But it is where the Electoral College makes the difference, right? The difference is made in the Electoral College. So this is the things that people need to understand about elections. It's not about everyone you talk to, everyone agrees with me. There's so many. I mean, where our whole town is anti-Trump. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's the problem, actually. The problem is that your whole town is anti-Trump. That's the problem, because once you leave your town, it's a different country. All right, so these are the things that people need to realize. And here we have Super Trump, I guess, would have to be said about this, right? And this is Super Trump, and a Photoshop in position of the face, some over Superman, little belly there, right? So again, is this a negative? This is the question that we're positing today. Is this a negative image? Is that what again? Wouldn't it depend on the viewer, who's watching, who's looking at this? Doesn't it depend on their perspective? Something like this. So many would say out there that this is a pro-Trump image. There's no wording, there's no other indication. I mean, we can philosophize and we can analyze this photograph, because obviously it's not Superman. Obviously, he's being held up, propped up. You can say that he's just, and the imagery in the face, the facial expression, right? It seems like what is he? He's saying, "Wow, yeah, I'm flying. I hope I don't fall." Is that what's happening there, or is he just like in your face? Wow, that's again depending on the person watching. This is a house, again, not where the popular vote exists, but again where the Electoral College makes the difference. And we see in the windows the signage for Trump support. Forever, and the open hood of this car, obviously someone's working on the car. It's whatever that will mean for anyone. Here's a good one. This is a very nice one. I have to admit that myself. Illegal immigration brings along criminals, drugs, and violence. We can add believe me, right? So we can add that. And the chieftain there below saying, I know. So that's a good one. This is like great. I love this. This is wonderful political satire, nice comic relief here. And again, but isn't this really a comment, though, that goes up against all of the United States? It's something I'm not sure that this actually is a anti-Trump effect. I know it's intended. It's intended to be anti-Trump, but when you have the Indian, they see Trump and the Indian does not. There's no opposition there. There's no relationship there established in order for you to connect the two. So in a way, I'm going to teach you guys, what not to do when you're doing your statements. Or somebody thought this up. This is a political thinking. This is a result of political thinking. They're matching together. They're mashing, I should say, two distinct elements. The Indian here with Trump, as if the Indians ever had an issue with Trump. Now, there could be some factions, some groups out there. Maybe they don't like the pipeline thing or whatever, but this is not dealing with pipeline. This is just dealing simply with the statement that Trump says about illegal immigration, which brings along with it criminals, drugs, and violence. And then the Indian responding, I know. The relationship to the Indian and with immigration, illegal immigration, that's the direct correlation, is the illegal immigration. So if someone is, see, this is the lunacy of things like that. If the person who created this was anti-Trump, which it appears that that the person would be, they're totally missing the messaging. They messed up the messaging because the topic of the image is illegal immigration, and right, that's what it is. Because the Indian, the only right that this Indian has in being here is the illegal immigration. The view that the immigrants that first came to the U.S. were the white man, right? So here's the white man there. So that's the only correlation. There's no other correlation. But then that includes all the Democrats, doesn't it? It includes everyone that's not an American Indian, plain and simple. So that's where this is the time. This is a good example of a lot of the anti-Trump political memes and commentary, opinions, thought process that a lot of the anti-Trumpers, which are more than just the Democrats, utilize or depend on, or comfort each other with. And it doesn't work. It helps you guys. I'm sure you're getting some type of therapeutic comfort in this regurgitation, but it really doesn't do anything to help your cause. It really doesn't. Because if you're thinking that this is supposed to persuade Republicans or pro-Trumpers in any way, it doesn't. And I would seriously doubt that even if among the Afro Americans that it has any effect at all. I mean, what's the Indian have to? That doesn't speak to them. So again, it's like a weak attempt. It's a weak correlation, and I don't think it works. It shouldn't work because intellectually or cognitively, it's a mismatch. It really has nothing to do with anyone today and any of the issues that confront the nation today, or that will be in play for the upcoming elections in 2020. Has no relation at all. It's simply a silly comment. It's baseless in terms of it doesn't have a relationship with our current the current debate, the current what do you call it, messaging. It's just another stupid meme and has no effect at all. It's just really just stupidity. Now this one is the elephant. Obviously, you have the flag in the back there. I'm trying to ascertain something climbing atop the elephant there, or it's attached to it. And you have the springy feet. This one's a mystery to me. Actually, there's some imagery here overlaying here, but I don't see the significance of that or any relationship. If anyone knows, you guys can add that into your comments. But in any case, um, there's not much here for us to discuss. It's just a picture. Here we have the Trump head and the shark coming obviously towards the Trump head, and obviously it's again, is this really anti-Trump? Is it pro-Trump? The shark is coming. People don't like sharks. So the imagery of a shark, automatically the shark is a negative thing. It's not Trump. That's the negative here. It's the shark. Now, if you're watching this, if you saw this, that's like, oh, that's a good one. I like that. If you saw that, understand that you are looking at a shark going to eat a human being. And it doesn't matter if it's Trump or not, but you're looking at a shark going to feed on a human, no matter if it's Trump or not. That's a mental image which you are liking simply because it's Trump. That shows that is honestly a level of evil that you need to recognize that you have. And some of you say I'm okay with that. Okay, so that's good. I'm not saying anything. I'm just, the point here is not to tell you that you're not okay with it, or that you are okay with it, or that you should or shouldn't be, or anything. The point is that you understand your thinking and your positioning based on, commonly held positions and perspectives on common imagery. As simple as that. And so you break the mold by liking this photo. So that should, if you have intellectual honesty, if that's something that doesn't appeal to you, what I just said, that you are bucking what, in other words, that shouldn't be something that you should like. This is like bad, okay, that you like this. So so it's a thing that you need to come to grips with and understand that that's what you're doing. You're actually approving of something that is a negative, a no, something that should never be acceptable. The devourment of a human being by a shark should never be something that you would agree to or enjoy. And the point that you are doing that, it for the rest of us out here, that's a problem, okay, that you need to take care of, because really it's an issue that you have, okay. So that's all. It's just that you come to that realization. Now, after these few Trump attacks, then we have a Trump Tower. We have a building with the name Trump proudly sitting on its face. That's Trump, okay. I'll be talking about this more as we go along. And here we have a nice sculpture. Don't I can't place it, so I'm just doing this on the fly. Ah, now I know what it is. Now I see. I saw this before actually, but now I didn't see why this had anything to do with Trump. And but now I see why it has to do with Trump, because actually in the backdrop behind here is a Trump building. You see Trump there, because I didn't see it before, but there it is. And so I guess it's the juxtaposition, intended or discovered, whatever, between this obviously Afro American face. There's probably two faces, but the vantage point does not allow us to appreciate this other face here. I'm guessing it's a face. Ah, it looks like an upside. It is, in fact, an upside down face. So you have a face regular, right side up, and another one next to it upside down. And by my view here, it does look like another Afro American face, but upside down. So you have that juxtaposition, and then in front of or behind, this looks like the behind area of a Trump building, or an area that's, I guess, on the other side of a highway, whatever. I can't tell here, but it looks like this is a highway here. Now that's interesting. We can talk a lot about this, what this sculpture here in relation with the building kinds of represents. This upside down black face, and then a right side up face. Not that any either face is happy or sad. And I hope, I don't know about this paint dripping down this front part here. I don't know if that's part of the sculpture or not. I can't tell. And it's a, it looks, I don't know. I can't say. But in any case, just the general image of it appears to me a little bit uh, relevant in terms of the Afro American positioning, which they're pretty much, I can't say divided in terms of percentile, but they are divided in any way. There are Afro Americans in favor of Trump and appreciative of what Trump is doing, don't agree with everyone else that he's a racist or something like that. And when I say everyone else, the other Afro Americans, and then you have the Afro Americans that are totally anti Trump. And the upside down face could be that anti Trumpness manifested there and or represented there. And, their beliefs or understanding, the way they view things, and they see Trump as being an issue. And we have these two different Afro American realities or saliencies in our society today in relation to Trump there. And looking at it artistically, if this was intentionally placed there, if this is the place that this sculpture is officially placed for its placement value, then the fact that, like, it's the black people uh, still far from the Trump reality, and still affected by it, and the world or everyone else just going by in their highways, in their cars, their day to day, and that we still have this reality lurking somewhere in the mix in this whole context, and divided between two perspectives. And in either case, by the way of the faces, they're still, either way, they're just still not where they need to be. I think that's basically, it's uh, a good take on at least this picture here. So that's something that is of that's interesting to that degree. And then we have the next picture. We have a Trump building again. Trump. Let's stop here. Let's pray that it's only hot air. Only hot air. And then here you see again the hot air. This is the Uncle Sam government. Uh, some hot air. Trump is comes open mouth, hot air. What he's saying, obviously, and the Statue of Liberty holding its nose and leaning backwards in indignant offense at what's happening. I think it's a good depiction, though even though it has the negative connotation, it does show actually what's going on in, I guess, with the United States, the people represented by the Statue of Liberty. Everyone, wherever your standing is on the government and on Trump, still, this is what is the reality that we're seeing in the population. Parts of the population are obviously, maybe the majority of the population, if you go by the popular vote, then that can be very um, close to reality. The connotation, though, that it's a lot of hot air, it's a little bit funny because the Statue of Liberty is actually in New York Harbor, or actually in Jersey, isn't it? It's on the Jersey side. I believe it's in the Jersey waters, if I'm not mistaken. I came from New York. I grew there, so I know the little gossip and the little fight they had with the Statue of Liberty, if I'm not mistaken. And so, but in any case, it's recognized as being in New York Harbor in general. And where the popular vote in New York is very anti-Trumpish. So that's, I guess, uh, interesting in that sense. But the Statue of Liberty really supposed to represent the freedom, the whole United States, not just New York. The whole United States, and by way of the Electoral College, does not agree with this depiction. At least that the government, that Trump is a hot air, full of hot air, and so they don't, not necessarily agree with all this. And the Statue of Liberty again represents all of the United States, not just the popular vote or the New York vote or anything like that. So again, it goes to the people who have negative connotations against President Trump, uh, thinking that what they are seeing is as an American, that all Americans feel this way, or at least should feel this way. Again, with art, it's never a definite, it's always a possibility, or a grade of whatever it is. Actually, just the fact that you're painting something, you're using shades, and those shades are grades of a color and things that even in its context, its material, its texture. Art has that messaging already involved with it, so it's not necessarily what you see, it's everything together. So again, um, the question now that we have to ask is this a pro, or is this effective as an anti-Trump? Because it's not a pro-Trump thing, but is it an effective thing? Does it hurt Trump in any way? Again, it's a freedom of speech thing, isn't it? It's a freedom of speech thing. People have a right to, as they say, their opinion, which it's an incorrect statement. But anyway, let's let the society determine what the society is digesting. So um, the it's offensive to those who support Trump. Those who support Trump don't agree with this imagery, and so that's that. Again, what is the purpose of this image, right? So I think that is just to sing to the choir. It's preaching to the choir. That's what it does. It's preaching to the choir because it's not persuasive. I think one of the things that you need if you're going to do political communication, okay, and it's fine to preach to the choir. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but at least that you need to know that that's what you're doing. You're not convincing anyone to vote a different way just because you have this thing there. You're preaching to the choir. The issue is, are you wanting to continue to preach to the choir while Trump wins another election? That's what I want to know. Because I'm trying to figure out why is this great impetus and a lot of anti-Trump posts, memes, graphics, etc. Um, that you had it in 2016. Trump still won. You guys kept it up going through all of his term right now, and it looks like he's going to win by a landslide, as far as we can assess today. And I mean, are people actually thinking that something like this is going to move something? What else what are you thinking about? This is it. What are you thinking that this will affect? How would this affect or improve anything for you? Again, that's the question. So that's what we're looking at today. We're just making this analysis. Here's another one. I hope I catch it before it goes. Okay. Here's one. Obviously, another piece of art. I call all of this art. It's okay. It's fine. What happens is that, of course, uh, Hillary is misspelled, isn't it? Yeah, I have to check these things. Sometimes I like to. Let's go to Hillary, because I would pronounce that as Hilary. Hilary. That's not Hillary. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's and there is a. Let's see what this says. Looking at Google, it says that. So let's just go this for education purposes. Bring that in, as you can see. Here at Google, you can see that Hillary actually is a version of the double L spelling, and it's a name. It's a name. So, but it's not Hillary Clinton's name. You see that? So it's not Hillary Clinton's name, but in either case, whichever way, Hilaris is only with one L, and that means cheerful and merry, which comes from the Greek hilaros, cheerful, merry, which in turn comes from hilaos, is propitious, gracious, and so that is where Hillary, both spellings, double L or the single L, are derived from. But again, it is not the spelling for Hillary Clinton. She has two L's. So that causes an issue because most people reading that would assume that that says and is referring to Hillary Clinton, right, with a misspelling. This is another thing that I want to address. It's the way that people are misspelling words, and in this case, this name. And what does that do to the messaging? See, what is being said? He's obviously grinning and all of that, and the message below this Trump is vote Hillary, right? That's like a joke. Again, this was probably something back in 2016. Vote Hillary, but I would not read it Hillary. I would read it Hilary. To me, this is to be pronounced Hilary, not Hillary. So that's the way I would do it, because it doesn't have the double L. So it loses, at least in for me, as I'm the spectator of this piece, it loses for me any of its value. Um, in either way, it's cheerfulness, it's joyful, it's like haha, sarcastic. So I guess this is the best way to label this piece, is that it's a sarcastic piece, simply. Next one, again, now after a few of these negative types of pictures. Again, these are not arranged by me or edited. This is just raw feed from the public database of images. And so again, now we have, based on this word search on Trump, for Trump, and here we have then Trump. This is Trump, a Trump building, a Trump property, and that's what we see. And again, this is what society sees. What I'm trying to point out to you is what society is seeing. Here you go again. Trump Majesty. Gigantic building, tall, wonderfully. You can see it has a wonderful design in it. It's just reaching up into the clouds, and then the name Trump. The sky reflected in those glass windows. Okay, this is imagery, and the difference between this and the negative stuff that you've seen up to now, and will continue to see throughout this broadcast, is that this is reality. This is real and big and shiny, and all the other stuff is just, paper. Somebody's feelings, somebody's thought. Here is accomplishment, and the other thing is just whatever came out, probably some hot air, like you saw in that other thing. And here we have someone else's right to opine. Trump, I won't, the cunt, I can say that's not wrong. There'll be other people saying that all over the place. And so, again, and the one of the funny things that I've always said is, with all of these curses, most of the curses that are used, bandied about, most of these curses, some of them, or most of them, I should say, which I did, they don't make any sense when you're using them. You're using things disparagingly or disparagingly, about what people's sexual members. It doesn't make any sense, guys and gals. I mean, why are these things disparaging? This is one of the things that you guys have. This is it would be interesting to do some more research on this. Is why do we take our own body members and make them disparaging in some way? I guess the old woman and man, male and female, right? Isn't that a result of sexism? This word, and to hear or to see someone that's probably accusing Trump of being a sexist. What is that? What is that exactly? Yes, so we have a society. I think we have a hypocritical society, that a society that is against these things, these issues. Yet they're implementing the what do we call it, the tools that were fostered by the very same issue that they seem to want to label Trump with, either rightly or wrongly. It doesn't matter. Why? How does doing the same thing you're accusing a person of doing? How does using the same thing right, justify? So again, why doesn't this stuff work? Why is this not something that's going to sway the electoral college, which after all is the one that elected Trump in 2016 and most probably will do it again in 2000 and 2020. Yeah, 2020. Why should it be any different? Is there some type of cognitive value here? Like I said, this is something that I didn't see then, and I don't see now, unless now looking closely, there seems to be a figure here on the wall. You see here that may or may not be a a reference to Trump there. Ah, I see. And now I see what really is the reference here. Is actually it's signed. Oh, it's not signed Trump. There's another signature on the other side. Let's see that. We can remove that. Yeah. So the artist's signature is down by the right side. If you can see it, you can't see it. I don't think where you guys your vantage point, but you can see. I think you can see the Trump over here, can't you? Yeah, you can see the Trump where my cursor is at. So that's it says Trump there. So I don't know if that's referring to our President Trump or some other type of thing, but it is what it is. If anyone else has an idea about that, they can also communicate that with me, and I'll be happy to bring that up in some future broadcast. Here we have Trump with some people. Obviously, in I guess one of the places he's dressed up for golf, and it should be at one at his Mar-a-Lago, if not someplace else. People smiling, women smiling with him. Not their sexual member is not being groped or anything, so they're smiling, right? So I mean, that's what you gotta. I mean, you gotta see. This is the things that we've seen, and after that, we see now another Trump or the same Trump building as before, much very popular, I guess. A lot of it, we've seen a lot of this building in particular, and now we see it again, standing erect and very tall. And I said that erection thing very highlighted and highlighted it again because these are images, and images, images are intended to carry a story, and even in our buildings, when the architect designs a building, there's some imagery there. There's always going to be image. An image may or may not be purposeful or done on purpose. I remember one time I did an image for a logo I did for a church. I actually was a Bible Institute. And, I said, I can't figure out what to do because I'm not an artist. I can paste things together, but artistry, these people who can draw these things, and I really admire that because I can't do that for beans. But anyway, so I decided on taking like the laws of Moses, the Ten Commandments, and then I put behind that um, a church window. So the church window is a little narrow and then ends in that in the arch. So it was like that, and then you had the Ten Commandments underneath, and the lady, she was a female director of that Bible Institute. She tells me this the design. You made a nice design here. It's a little phallical. She did. She was speaking in Spanish, so that we don't have. We didn't. I don't think she used that word. She was a little more down to earth with it. But she would have said this looks like a male sexual member, and I looked at it, and I didn't want to say, well, you have a dirty mind. That's not. It was not appropriate. It's just that This was the initial thought that she saw in it, and I guess because it wasn't a circular logo or anything, my defense was Everyone has a circle logo. Every logo in town is circle, circle, circle this, circle that. So I wanted something different. And it could have been that she requested something different. So she didn't want a circle. So, well, then, what are we going to have here? It's either circle or square, right? Or rectangle. So I went with that, and she agreed with my. I gave her my explanation, my defense of it. That it's a simplistic but effective logo. It's church, it's Bible, it's Word of God, and it brings out the main purpose. Now, if you want to look at it in a different way, then we're going to run out of logos real quick. And anyone can say, well, a circular logo is half a testicle, right? Half of a sack of testicles, right? You can always say that too. I mean, but in any case, we can make all the comparisons you want. You can really tie things in, and we'll run out of ways of doing things really quickly. But in any case, people have these associations on their brain. So that's basically something that we have to recognize, but we're not going to be childish about everything. Here we go, the famous image of the crying Trump baby. There you go. There you have it. Right. So again, what is the reaction? People, oh, it's cute. He's a baby, but don't you guys love your babies? This is the thing I always trying to figure out. Don't you love babies? Maybe not the Democrats. That's a point. Maybe not the Democrats. Wow. I never realized that, but now that I'm looking at it and I ask the question, don't you guys love babies? Now we have maybe that this way good, but doesn't that go for your choir though? Isn't it that your choir that supports abortion would see and not like this and appreciate this negative image? You see that? And aren't you strengthening the conservative view that, against the abortion issue? And you guys are parading around with a baby as a balloon. You see that? So what I'm trying to just to try to bring out to you is that maybe the images you're using, instead of them being like negative to us on our side, they're actually positive in the sense that it gives us more motivation, more reasoning, and strengthens our resolve that we're right. Stuff like this, you know, and we're looking at you. You guys are hypocrites. You should have none aborted that baby. Now, listen, because then they got this guy. There's some guy went and stabbed the balloon. Remember that? Did you see that in the news? They stabbed the balloon. And by the way, just to give you guys a heads up, those of you on, I believe, YouTube, if you're commenting on YouTube, I can't see your comments. I should fix that. Let me just do that, just in case. Because I have to remember that when I do certain broadcasts, YouTube does not show up on my chat mechanism here. And what happens is that, of course, I can't I can't see any comments from YouTube. And so let me just go in there, and I should make a link. I should create a link from the chat directly. So I'm going to have to get that directly. We picked up a subscriber, no doubt. We picked up a subscriber, so that's very good. So and welcome to our channel, by the way, in YouTube. YouTube. Now, a channel is Global My CBH Network. It's not the Viral Political Machine. I'm pretty sure I have another channel for Viral Political Machine, but I haven't set up the live streaming on there, or and maybe I won't be setting that up because of the limitations YouTube have. I have a lot of channels, so I may not do that. But in any case, I just got that going here. So like I said, this guy went and stabbed the baby and deflated the balloon. So stabbing the baby wasn't that an abortion? How many Democrats were against that? You see that? This goes to show the lunacy out there. People are not understanding. You guys are crazy. I mean, not individually. We do crazy things in mass. If you've been watching my Sunday teachings on TSPCI, you would have learned in Exodus 23 that God is actually against a lot of the stuff that the Democrats are doing. Okay, so this issue is rebellion against all of things that God has stated, and then it goes to show, well, is it wrong or is it right and whatnot? But you guys got to realize that if someone goes and aborts the inflated baby Trump, that you guys really should not have been against that. If you think about it, you should have stood by your philosophy that the baby should be aborted, should be killed. That's what you should have done. You should never have made that big mistake, because all you did was tell us conservatives and people who are pro-Trumpers and things like that, who are against abortion, that we're right. And you agree with us. Killing the baby is a bad thing. You're right, absolutely right. See? So you agree. There is a hypocrisy. It cannot survive. I don't see how you guys that are anti-Trumpers and for in favor of abortion can survive. How your posit can survive can only survive if everyone is nuts. And granted, you guys keep this going long enough, and I guess, as I've read in some memes at some time, that you guys, we should kill the Trumpers and all that. I guess getting rid of us will give you a country that has similar mental health states that you're comfortable with. I'm sure of that. As a psychotherapist, I know that. But given things as they are right now, you are displaying some dichotomy, some disagreement, internal conflict, cognitive conflict in your thinking. Your thinking doesn't carry through. And so now maybe that's why it doesn't work. Maybe your politics, your anti-Trump politics is not working because your thinking doesn't flow through. There's something wrong with it. And that's usually an indication of something wrong. I teach Bible. I teach people how to find what is the truth and what is not the truth in the scripture. And one of the things is that you carry the thinking through. Because if the thinking doesn't flow through, and you see that there's a problem when you get over beyond the surface, now we have a problem, then that thinking is wrong. It's incorrect. And now here again, in this, we have it. The guy went, killed the baby, and you guys are in an uproar. Hypocrisy. Simply hypocrisy, and probably and the hypocrisy, and if it isn't, if you say, no, it's not hypocrite, then it's mental illness. It's one or the other, but it is one of them definitely. Simply your thinking is not carrying through. So that's another thing that you had to go through. But I find that it's a cute thing, babies are cute, they're adorable, they can't do anything wrong. Okay, but that this again, the babies cannot do anything wrong. They don't know, they're innocent. But you don't hold Trump according you. Your image of Trump is not this, or is it? Is this the image of Trump? Because if this is the image of Trump, then you guys are really bashing in a baby. The impeachment trial is persecutorial against an innocent child. You see where it doesn't fit. So what's new with your politics? This is the thing you have to realize. And then I don't know how Christians can find themselves in a messaging that is so contradictory, hypocritical, oppositional to its own declarations, self oppositional. What's wrong with you guys? Something you guys are also in this problem. You have a mental health issue, or you're hypocrites. Which one is it? Something's going on. Something's wrong here. Now we have the image of the snake here with the image of Trump there. Again, the snake obviously is a reference to the Garden of Eden, the Satan, the devil, all of the evil things. And then you have Trump. Now, is this a positive or negative? Well, I guess depending how you want to look at it. I personally look at it as a positive. This is again a psychological thing. He's under attack. Simply, it doesn't show that the serpent is like coming away from him, as would indicate that the serpent and Trump are together. This is obviously, and you see that by the way the eyes are looking, and Trump in his stance is like, yeah, come closer, come closer. He has that type of look, that imagery. Yeah, come closer. You see what's going to happen. That type of face, and the eyes looking at that same serpent, and he's standing still. He's not in a defensive position. He's at ease. He has his arms down by his side, and he's just looking calmly. He says, come, like trying to say, yeah, keep coming. I look at this as a positive, pro-Trump imagery. Some other people, how you doing? Hey, yeah, good question. I'm sorry, I've been without a question for all this time, so are you a believer? So yes, I have a question, but I want a serious answer. That's all I give. I don't give comical answers. Well, sometimes I get humorous, but go ahead and answer your question. Do you know me as giving an honest answer? I always do that. Now, this again, we'll see what type of the question, what type of question. This is from Twitch, so what we can expect is, whatever. But anyway, at least there's life on Twitch, right? Anyway, and this probably doesn't have to do with this imagery, so we can go on. But what was your opinion? Is this pro or against Trump? I gave you my opinion. Why does God take people away as in death? I just lost my father a few weeks ago, by the way. You may know it or not. So the question is, why does God take people away? And the answer to that, let's go back to the beginning. I would say in the beginning is always the answer. And the issue is that God didn't take anyone away. In the beginning, God told Adam, and since we're talking, we have the serpent here, so he can tell you too, right? God told Adam, do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The day you eat of that tree, you shall surely die. Okay, so God told man, do not do that because you will die. Okay, so in other words, that death will become a thing with you. I did not create you for death, but if you do that, death will come to you. Okay, so he told them. Of course, we know the story. Adam went and disobeyed God. So again, why does God take people? God doesn't take away. You have to remember something. He said that very day you shall die. The question that you have to ask is, why are we still alive? That's the question. Not why do we die or why do people go away. Why are we still alive? Because really, we're not supposed to be alive. That is the question that should be asked. So basically, since we are not supposed to be alive, we should be thankful to God for every day we are. Because every day we are, it's a gift, literally. Because we're not supposed to be alive. We should have died when Adam ate the apple. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I'm talking like all the other. When Adam ate that fruit, it wasn't an apple, because the Bible doesn't say it was. So I'm not going to say that. But it was the fruit of the knowledge, because an apple doesn't give you knowledge of good and evil, right? So again, it's not an apple. The fruit was actually the fruit of knowing the good and bad. Why I don't have anyone who cares about me, so why isn't everyone there? Why I don't have anyone who cares about me? So these are like basically two questions. So the first one is, why I don't have anyone who cares about me, and then why isn't everyone dead? Okay. So basically, it's not true that you don't have anyone who cares about you. Remember, God told Adam that he will surely die. The question is, why are we alive? So in the Bible, God tells us why. It says that in John 3:16, to answer your question, the only reason we are alive is because for God so loved the world, and the world is all of us, he gave his only begotten Son, so that all who would believe in him shall not perish but have life eternal. So the issue is that we're still alive because God loves us. You are here because God loves you. So when you say that I don't have anyone who cares about, that's not true. Because then God wouldn't have allowed you to live. Matter of fact, God had to fight to keep you alive, because there's a whole lot of Democrats out there. They're trying to kill you before you're born. So quite sadly, but true. So quite literally, God had to fight to to bring you into this world, to keep you alive and away from Democrats, into this world. See? So that is a fight that he won, but it's one that you have to recognize. And then everyone else, he loves everyone. He loves all people. Okay? So again, we're here to give the message. And really, the purpose of you living is to hear and receive this message of grace, of the gift of God, so that he can turn around what happened in the Garden of Eden. I haven't felt it a single day in my life that someone loved me, because I think you were looking in the wrong place. You were looking for a person, a people, um, and not realizing that God loved you, and you should, and you're not recognizing the love that God has for you already. So that's an issue. We have to first know that and understand that. So really, if you are hearing this message today, you have to walk away with the knowledge that the only reason that you're alive today is because God loves you. You are loved. It's not true that you are not. And if you're not seeing that, then that is an issue. That's a thing that you have to, just like you got a cold and you go get cold medicine, that's something you need to take care of because you're having an issue. But you are loved because you are, quite simply. So, and then also, there's the issue of feeling love. What is that actually? And I can't answer that for you, because everybody has a different upbringing, a different way that you grew up, experiences. Some people had parents, some people had terrible, horrible families, and like you're now sharing with us that uh, you had a very sad situation within your sibling group. That's part of the things that we're talking about. That is very sad. You need to understand because I raise therapeutic children here. So I'm talking to you not as just as a psychotherapist, but as a foster parent and a therapeutic one at that. And we have a lot of children who come through trauma like you have had in your life. And what happens is, depending on when it occurs in your life, in your development, it leaves different types of impressions permanently, in many cases, on you. But one of the things that can happen is probably what you're suffering from now is that it damages your spiritual or mental definition of what love is. See, it damages you, and so that you don't know if someone loved you, you wouldn't even know it because it's not registering now. But no one can see that my whole perfect life is fake, but God knows it. And if you were in my immediate surrounding, if I was someone in your life trying to help you, you came to me for advice and for help, I would see it. I would know it. You would have told me, and you would say, I'm having this situation like you're doing now. Then why doesn't He show me? You mean God? Um, the question is, have you gone to Him for Him to show you? And by that, let me tell you a little, just slightly, just once, a few seconds worth. That when I was 8 years old, I went to God and I told Him, "If you're real," because I was just 8 years old. I said, "If you're real, then show me what the truth is, and take away what other religious people have put in my head and what they're doing, what they're saying now." Because I was in the church. I said, "How do I know this is the truth?" So listen, if you have a sincere heart, the Word of God says, if you have a sincere and humble heart, God will hear you and He will answer you. How that answer is different for each person. And but He proved. Let me say that He proved, because hey, listen, I'm a person, I like the scientific method. All right. So God had to prove. Okay. God had to prove that it was Him, and He did it. Okay. So for every person it's different. Then why doesn't He show me? I said that even the shrinks couldn't see it. Well, the shrinks are, again, you're talking about shrinks. A lot of them are divorced. So where does their shrink help them with that? Um, they're shrinks by training. I'm different, right? I have my thing comes natural or God given, whichever way you want to look at it. So every person that came to me for help um, has been helped. Now I have a perfect marriage record in terms of people coming. They were having troubles and they were getting ready to divorce. They were right there. And those that I took on as clients, they're still together. And a few of them have passed on, and they died having stayed in their marriages and gone through without any more issues. So I have a better track record than most of your educated doctors out there who rely on their education but don't have the grace of God to help people really, naturally or internally. So again, um, that those are numbers. So that is where it is at. Even the shrink screens. I went to church and asked to a priest. I jumped from a bridge. I even jumped under a car. It feels like torture, but never got answer because they can't see past the mask. Right. But again, I mean, you have to understand something. It's why when you're looking for help, um, you just have to stop using the mask. At least with yourself. Are you using the mask on yourself? Are you doing that? See, because that's also something. If you're looking at yourself, see, when you look in the mirror, are you looking at the mask? That's the question. Oh well, you see the difference. I don't think it's a joke. I know what you're doing. That's why I asked you the question about the mirror. Right, right. So yeah, well, again, these things are not funny, and I deal with again children who have trauma have been traumatized, and help them through it. And it's not an easy thing. Okay, so even when coming to God and asking Him to guide you and to teach you, it's not an easy thing. You're talking about doing away with most of the things that you identify with yourself. So that's not an easy thing at all. It's very slow. Um, no, I see my sad self. Yeah, you see your sad self. And so again, it's you need to have the right combination. This is hard work. It's hard work that you have to do yourself, and hard work that someone with understanding has to work with you on. So I wish I had an easy answer for you. Again, you would have been. God may have someone for you, by the way, because I can't. I'm telling you these things now, but I can't believe that you're here by accident, and God is trying to reach to you. So there's somebody either in your life right now or coming into your life very soon that will be able to help you. They will tell you similar things that I've told you now, and you will get the feeling, oh, this is like what that big guy was saying on the computer on Twitch. Yeah, you need to connect, and and don't expect overnight miracles. It's not going to happen. We're talking about a very long, lifelong walk here. Okay, so be patient with yourself overall, and with anyone who's trying to help you. The only one who cared died. Then my pets die one by one, and everyone says it's just my own, I guess, fault. Well, nothing is your fault in and of itself. But if you choose to look at it in a negative way, again, not appreciating the life that we have, and then that is your, especially after hearing me today, it will be your fault if you choose to ignore what I've told you. So that's the only thing that can be your fault. Things happening are not your fault. This is what happens. So you can't take it and you know add that to you. You are who you are, and that's that. Now what happens is a result. Again, what happens from now on is a result of your decision making. So I would suggest that you simply open your heart now to God. And just let's just take a moment and just do that, so at least we know that we're grounded, that we started, right? You want to start and at least have that moment for yourself. So let's do that now. You just simply close your eyes, you open your heart, And you just say simply, God, I've heard these words now, and I reach out to you. I ask you to guide me. I'm reaching out my hand and asking you to please guide me. And I will walk in faith, trusting that you are guiding me. Show me, indicate to me who it is that's going to help me and simply protect me. I have no other way. I'm tired of this mask. I'm tired of this sadness. And help me walk on and in trusting you and in having faith in you, because basically that is all that is left. And I accept, and I would encourage you now to receive his help. His help, again, as we said in John 3:16, was that he gave his only begotten son, Jesus Christ. So I urge you now to receive and to say to him, I accept you, Jesus Christ. Father, I receive your gift to my life, Jesus Christ, into my life. And I ask that you um, uh, receive me and that you guide me unto all truth and righteousness, which is doing the right things and thinking the right way. So if you've done that today, amen. So if you've done that, then we have a starting point, and you have a starting point. Now, the Bible says that all the old stuff, everything in the past is gone. We're starting new. You're starting new today. And now you're walking with the Lord. You're walking with God, and that is a good thing. Amen. Praise God for that. I've had faith for 18 years, but he never answered all the prayers, not all the prayers, right? But he never answered. So again, it's like I said, I don't know what church you were in, I don't know what teaching you got or anything like that. Usually in our relationship with God, we shouldn't be in a relationship where it's like I'm asking, you ask and ask and ask and ask. I mean, again, if we're just simply living and breathing, that's already a very thankful situation. You should be always in thanksgiving, thanking God for another day, because simply every day is Lent. So again, it depends on how you're looking at things, and the way you're looking at things is obviously a lot to do with how people are teaching you and or what things you are learning from whom. But obviously, all the things you were learning up to now has not helped you at all. If you look at things the right way, then you will have a better understanding of things. Not that you'll feel any better, because there could be other reasons, and sometimes it's medical. Sometimes you need some medicine to help you see things differently. But understanding, you can always understand. So understanding will help you through a lot of times. Okay, so that's what I have to say about that. I mean, obviously, we can have a lot more conversation. If you follow me on Twitch that you're at, every once in a while, you can always ask questions. I'm teaching on Saturdays, on the Sabbath. I'm also teaching on Sundays. And you can always chime in with a question. You can basically educate yourself with watching my Bible teachings and learning, because I talk a lot about psychology, a lot of things about depression and things of life, so that you can understand why things are the way they are. Why do we suffer what we suffer and things like that? I always go through a lot of that as I do my program. So yeah, so do that. And again, make this the first day of the rest of your life. And there's no reason, as far as I can ascertain, that you cannot make a big change. And now, if you're trusting God, you trust in Him and in His Son. The see, all the God did all His work in fixing our problems in Jesus Christ. So as long as you go and you cling on to Jesus Christ, you received Him, and you move on from this point on, um, things will start, and you get the education because that's very important. So I'm here, I'm online all the time, and there's other ways to get more of what I teach and all that. You'll be seeing and hearing that over time as well. So it's basically really up to you, my friend. So I really encourage you to continue in that walk. Okay. Um, so I guess that's that time. And again, we're here to help you for any future questions that you may have. Okay, so we're thankful about that moment. It's great that we have a moment that we can be of assistance to someone looking for help, especially on Twitch, because usually on Twitch it's like it's no man's land over there. They got the game No Man's Sky, but here in Twitch, actually the chat rooms are just no man's land over there. But anyway, I encourage you in the Lord, my friend. I encourage you in the Lord. Okay, so if you have no other question, if that's okay, I'm moving on with my broadcast, which I really I'm going to wrap up. Let's see how much time I have had so far. It's like 1 hour and 20. So I'm going to wrap this up in about 9 minutes, 8 minutes or so. Okay. All right. So that's a good thing. At least we're able to help somebody who's really looking for the truth in their life, and that's exactly what we're about here, and what I do on Saturdays and Sundays, every day, really, and even throughout all my different broadcasts on different topics, because that's the type of guy I am. I have different interests, and I explore them and develop them more fully as the Lord permits me. So that's what we're doing. Here again, we see a Trump building. This is probably the same building we've been seeing all day in this broadcast today, but it's a different perspective. It's a nighttime picture. Again, it's I mean, look at all the buildings there on this. This is, I believe, is Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And then look at all of these other buildings. You know, it's the only building with the Trump name on it, right? Again, this is an image. It's just an image. It's what goes out there as opposed to the others that we've seen. This is social media available imagery, and just a regular search, and this is the search results. That's basically what it is. But it is what people are seeing. The messaging. Here we go again. Another, I guess the same one. Again, under construction when it was under construction, and again, these are the things that are seen. Another building. These are the different ones. The Trump Plaza. At some time, again, some of these images are certainly old ones. I'm guessing this is what used to be, or still may be in Jersey City, Atlantic City, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on things Trump, but it doesn't matter. You see, you should be seeing already the difference in what people are saying negatively and the real life photos of Trump. See that? This is the dichotomy in our social construct today, and so that is the reality that the 2020 elections are going to happen with this reality. Here we go again, the Trump building again, standing tall. Here we have the 2016 messaging, and I hope that this would affect or be the sentiment for the election, which obviously was not. Again, singing towards the choir. There's no reason. His hair, they made a thing about the hair, and somehow the hair has to do with something. There's other things were said about his orange skin and stuff like that. Again, orange skin and all, he still became the president, the 45th president. Again, these messaging, and people spend time in doing that and preparing that. But nope, what? Nope, what? You know, it's not. It's just saying no and nope and whatever other memes you come out. It's not enough to do anything. It just makes other people with the same sentiment say, yeah, yeah. It's just another. It does nothing because all it does is just it's the obvious in the obvious audience because you're not gaining any traction with that. Here's another one. Uh, um, with whatever way they made that happen, whatever lens they're using, there's types of screens and lenses you can put in front and make that happen, right? So here it goes again. Uh, all that does, it's alarming when you look at it. It's alarming, and so it brings in this gigantic picture. What this does is that it impacts the person. It doesn't bring in a negative. It actually impacts, which is a different thing. When you're trying to do a negative, you don't want to be overly impacting, because when you're overly impacting, then your messaging is overwhelmed by the impact. So you lose the impact, the message, because of this overwhelming impacting image. And basically it works against you again. It's great for people to laugh at, but laughing isn't a negative. It really isn't. I mean, we go to enjoy ourselves in a comedy club. It's not negative. Laughing is not a negative thing. So making people laugh is actually a positive thing that you're doing. And then obviously, if your group is the Democrat Party or people are anti-Trumper group, then they're being impacted, right? They're being impacted in a positive sense, not negative. It's a positive. That's it. And the impact, so it works opposite, right? So then if this is taken to a Republican looking at this again, you're making Trump, look at what you're doing to make people laugh. You're making Trump bigger. Like his Trump building. You see what you're doing? Making him bigger. The baby idea was better, except for the hypocrisy in it. Really, the Democrats shouldn't own the baby thing, because you guys don't have a right to own the baby thing. So, on the face of it, even though the baby thing was better, it really doesn't belong to you. So, it's dishonest and hypocritical. So, it also loses its weight and loses its impact on anything. Okay, so again, they're just not thinking on terms of how to combat against this. See that big head over there? They like, let's look back at this, because here's where you get to see it. See, big head Trump. He's an idiot. He's dumb. Look at the stupid thing Trump did. Look at the stupidity that Trump said today. He's a total idiot. He's an incredibly idiotic. Ooh, ooh, ooh. See what happens? See what happens to the whole Democrat platform against Trump? It falls flat on his face. That's the cement. That's the dirt upon which Trump built his buildings. And that's the problem with your whole posit. Everybody's saying he's dumb. Everybody's saying he's an idiot. If Trump is an idiot, where's yours? See? And if you don't have this, then you are more of an idiot than Trump is. I'm not saying that Trump isn't an idiot. I'm just saying that you are worse, because this is what an idiot does. If you're right, this is what an idiot does. I'm trying to get my finger right there. See, that's, according to you, that's an idiot's work. That's the product of an idiot, of a stupid person, of a crazed maniac. This is the work of crazy, according to all of y'all. And somebody needs to call an ambulance for you. And that's why you're not going to win. None of the candidates in line are going to win in the coming election at all, because you guys are baseless. Against Trump, sorry, it just doesn't work. It doesn't hold water. And almost, you guys are almost like these crypto promoters who are always bullish. Oh, it's coming down, but it's going to go up. It's going to be 50,000. It's going to be $1 million by the end of the year. That's what you guys are doing. You guys are full of it. It's not Trump that's the hot air. It's you guys. You're full of hot air. And this is today's broadcast for Viral Political Machine. Thank you very much for watching.